Hello, and welcome to a project demonstration on NewsExplorer. This project is a full-stack application that creates a custom news experience where users can browse the news anonymously or create an account to browse and save articles for later use. What I want to do quickly is talk about some of the technologies used behind the scenes to make this project a reality before jumping into the features of the website itself. So how is this built? It was built using the MERN stack, which is MongoDB, ExpressJS, React, and Node.js. Styled components are used to make it look good. The news API is a public API that sources news articles from around the world from a bunch of different sources. This is all hosted on Heroku, and then Mongoose is used as an object data modeler to wrap MongoDB and manage data via the REST API. JWTs are used to secure the application via persisting sessions, and I want to talk about that in a second, but first let's go ahead and look at the website and what it involves on the main page. So here we are with a big hero image with the search bar from which we can actually go and query news. We have the About the Author section and a footer with some important links. Up in the header, we have a home button and a sign in button. So there's not too much going on here. Really, the main thing that users should be able to do is search news quickly and easily right there. So let's see what that looks like when we don't sign in. I'll search for dogs right now, and you'll see that we have cards that render, and we have the first 6 cards here, and they're all from a bunch of different sources. If I want to show more, I can click the show more button down here to see 6 more. And eventually when we run out of cards, I think when we hit about 100 cards, this will say, this show more button will disappear, but we won't go that far. For now, we can read articles, we can see the title, the description, and if we want to click on these, we can go and view the article itself. And if I want to save the articles, I'm going to be directed to actually sign in. So now's a good time to pause and talk about the login flow. So why don't I scroll to the top and I'll refresh the page, and then we can talk about that from here. So if I'm here and I want to sign in, first thing I should do is actually create an account. I already have an account set up, so I won't go back and create one because I have an account made with some saved articles. But if I were to sign up, what's going to happen there? Well, I'm going to enter an email and a password, and those are going to be sent via a post request to the backend. The password is going to be sent intact, and then when it gets to the backend, it's going to be hashed and then stored in the Mongo database alongside that user information. When I come back and sign in, if I sign in with jake@test.com, and then do test, which is the password, I can sign in there. Real quick, I'll pause to show that there is some custom validation here. If I go and enter something that isn't an email, we'll see please include @ in the email address. So I should go ahead and do that. Test.com and test is the password. So now we're going to go do this. And what's going to happen now? Well, we'll see that I'm successfully signed in. So that means that that was a successful request. And what happened there is that that was a successful post request to the backend, where when we do the sign-in process, the password is sent in the body of the request, hashed, and then compared to the stored hash using bcrypt. If the hashes are correct, a JWT is signed with that user information and sent back to the client side and stored in local storage. Now on every subsequent page load, a use effect will run to verify that the stored JWT points to a valid user. That use effect, as well as every subsequent API call, will be sent with a JWT in the authorization header. Express authentication middleware will prevent further action if the JWT is not present in that request. And when the token is validated on the backend, the associated user information is attached to the request object, which can then be used later down the road. On the front end, if that use effect resolves with valid user information, that user data will be stored in the global context user object, and the user is authorized to access protected routes hidden behind higher order components. And since that JWT is stored in local storage, we can persist the session such that until that JWT expires or is deleted by logging out, users can refresh the page and continue returning back to a login session. So that's a quick rundown of the authentication process, but let's go ahead and view what it looks like when we're logged in, what it looks like to query news. So again, here we are on the main page, and we have the same things. We have that search bar right there, and I want to search for articles for dogs again. And when it's loading, we set that nice UX, and then you'll notice that the header or the hero image disappeared because we don't need that information anymore. We know how the application works. So right now we just want to see the search bar and then the information that we looked for. Now we see results for dogs right here. That keyword is saved right there. And all this information pops up here. So you'll notice that this article already has a blue check mark, and that's because I already logged in and saved this. So any card that renders with the URL that matches up with one that the user with this email has already saved is going to render with that blue check mark. And I can unsave it from here. I can continue saving more articles, and we'll see where those end up later. One of the technical challenges that I faced in making this project was figuring out how to render a uniform display of articles from all over the world. So this is what this card display is for, and some things that went towards making this more uniform were to truncate the titles and descriptions if they were too long and reformat the date to be the same format all over the place as well. If I search something that will return articles that don't have thumbnails attached to them. So the climate search, I already knew this, had an image right here that didn't render with a thumbnail attached. I'm going to render an image that is just a NewsExplorer placeholder logo image. So instead of rendering something gray or moving this text up and misformatting, we'll still have an image there even if there isn't one attached. So that's a way that we can create a uniform card experience. Once I search the cards that I want, I can now go to my saved articles section, which is going to be a new page, and I can see all the cards that I've saved here. So here are 3 cards for dogs. Down here, there's 1 for volleyball, 1 for forestry, and 1 for climate. So you can see that these keywords up here, I have 7 articles saved, and these keywords are sorted in order of popularity. So dogs are going to show up at top because I love dogs, and there are 3 saved articles regarding dogs. If I want to delete an article, I can then delete this, and then the component will re-render, and then that article will be gone, which is great. If I want to find more articles related to a keyword I already searched, I can click this keyword button, and that will take me back to the homepage and research that for us again as well. So those are the main features of the website. We can sign up and log in with post requests. We can create a post request to save articles, and then we can send delete requests to the backend as well by deleting these articles. It's a fairly simple website that is nice and responsive across all devices, and yet, even though it is simple, it allows you to do a lot, and it looks nice, and it's pretty intuitive. This is a fun project to make. I learned a lot in the process of making this, and I appreciate you taking the time to check out this demo. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave those in the comments below. You can also see a link to the live deployment and a link to the code repository in the description below. But until the next one, peace.